Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to create a little trio of houses using an eco casting compound and decorating the houses in a seamless floral design using a direct to film transfer. These little 3 moulds I've used before, and that's why the last little one there has a purple tinge to it, because it was using a purple pigment in it, and yeah, that doesn't transfer onto the new casting though, which is great. So this is Just Resin's Arc powder, and it is an acrylic resin compound, and it is a 2-part, and it's a 2.5:1 ratio. So I've measured out 250 grams of the powder, and to that I'm going to add 100 grams of liquid. Now the liquid, they recommend that you put in 2 stages. Firstly, 80% of the liquid, and then you add the final 20% of the liquid. So that's why you see me adding 2 lots there. And then the pigment that I'm going to use today is walnut, and that's in the Arc pigment series, also from Just Resin. So this is specifically designed to use with acrylic eco resin powders. So after just mixing that thoroughly to get that slight tint, so I don't get a pure white, I'm going to pour that into the moulds fairly carefully, and then I'm going to try and minimize air bubbles by tapping the mat and just jiggling them around a little bit to see if I can dislodge any air bubbles that might have been formed. I do have the tiniest little bit left over, and I'm going to use a funny little bowl that I've used quite a bit before when I was casting art stones. I think it was a baby's feeding bowl. I bought it at an op shop. I think it was 20 cents. And I love the rounded triangle shape. So I'm just going to pop the rest of the mixture into there, and that will give me just an extra little piece to work with. So as I said, I'm going to just try and eliminate as many bubbles as possible, although I have found that this particular casting powder is of such high quality, they really don't have any bubbles. They're brilliant. Okay, so after they have cured, I'm going to take them out, and they are so beautiful and smooth. That's my rounded edge of the triangle, where it just splashed into the bowl. I just had to brush those pieces off with my finger. And these moulds are fairly easy to demould, apart from where the little heart and the windows are. You just have to apply a little bit of pressure to get that out, but they pop out fairly easily. And just perfect, really. I just love them. This casting compound just gives such a smooth, beautiful finish. And they actually smell really nice too, which is a bit odd, isn't it? But they do have that lovely silky finish, and they're quite weighty. They're not a light weight cast item like you might get with something like plaster of Paris. So I was very happy with these, and I had virtually no cleanup to do on the front, the sides, or the back. Now I'm going to use a piece of DTF, which is direct to film heat transfer, and I'm going to use my little cricket iron there, and this was just a piece of, it's from a larger piece that I just sort of had cut off and used, and it was just a scrap left in my tub. So I thought, why not apply it over the 3 of them when they are tightly pressed together, so you'll get that seamless pattern right across the 3 houses. So I'm using just a piece of greaseproof paper, baking paper, and I'm ironing for around between usually 15 to 30 seconds, and then I'm doing a warm peel, and the pieces that were left over, the larger pieces, I'm just going to snip those off with a pair of scissors because they're not obviously not needed. And then once you've removed the protective film for the DTF, the director film, you then go ahead and cure it by applying heat again just through the piece of baking paper. And so now I'm just going to take my craft blade and separate the transfer down between each of the houses, just to make sure that I don't sort of just pull it apart and some of it's still attached. And it cut really easily. I just love this effect of having 3 different houses, but they are all part of a seamless series. And yeah, they turned out really pretty. So of course you are going to have overhang, particularly with the little arches between the house, which is I guess the doorways, the windows, and if I'd gone up near that heart area, the hearts as well. It's very easy to clean up. You just need a sharp blade or an emery board, and the little pieces come off very easily. If any of the pieces, when you do a direct-to-film transfer or any other heat transfer to an eco casting powder mould, if you do need to clean it up, you can also, as I said, use the an emery board, just a nail emery board. And often it just peels off with your fingers. If a little bit too much does come off, or if you get a piece that's lifting up, you can actually sort of glue that down when it comes to the sealing process. So the product that I use to seal these is actually also a glue. So I'm just going to let these sit for a little while to cool down. I do go back in and tidy them up again, as you can see here. And I'm using this Duraclear matte varnish. It's a really beautiful product. It dries very clear with a very strong coat, so it protects things, and also, as I mentioned, you can use it as a glue, so it does adhere down any little pieces that you might have. And I did also go ahead before I finished off camera, and I did wax the sides and the backs with the Buan Nicole beautiful wax, and yeah, so they're sealed completely all over. I could not be happier with how these turned out. They just look so pretty, and I've got the other little set that I made just sitting next to my workspace, and they just make me so happy looking at them. They're super cute. These are definitely something that I will be taking custom orders for, and I can see that there's so much potential there to do sets of the houses in, you know, really specific patterns, whether it's to do with a new baby, with the gender of the baby, with colours or something, or whether it's to do with a sporting team, or a particular animal or something like that across them. They're really fun to work with. I still do find it a little bit challenging getting the those, because it's got the little indents in it with the windows and the heart and the doors. You do have to go in and do that little bit of cleanup afterwards. You'll see I've got a cotton tip there that I'm just going to go in and get out any excess that's gone into those little holes, but it's not too bad at all. So next I'm going to turn my attention to that additional little piece, and this time I'm going to use a heat transfer decal that I ordered from Temu. I think from memory this was 30 or 40 cents, so very economical. And I'm going to do a similar technique. I'm going to use the little Cricut mini iron to apply heat through that sheet of baking paper, and then once I've done that I just wait a little bit. So I'm doing what's called a warm peel, which means I peel back that protective sheet while it's warm. And yeah, I think this little tree was just perfect for the size for this. I was really happy with that. And so you can see the colours are beautifully vibrant, just gorgeous. And so after that, I of course go ahead and cure that into the substrate. So you do that by applying heat again without the protective film. And once you've done that, particularly if it's onto clothing, that really embeds it in there. So yeah, look at that, that's so cute. So I'll go ahead now and seal this one with the same varnish and just coating it all over. And then I did afterwards do the back of it with the Bois Nicole wax, just to protect the back as well. I can't see any reason why I couldn't have used the Duraclear matte varnish front and back, but I do love using the wax. There's something very tactile about it. So I hope this has given you some ideas on how you can use direct to film or heat transfers with your eco casting powders. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love sharing my little crafting adventures with you, and I've got some video and photos now of the final products. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.